we saw a beautiful tweet the other day that was comparing Shohei Ohtani to the great Babe Ruth. David, tell us about those numbers.
All right, so Hector Gomez, it's really interesting how the comparison here at the point in their careers, right? So simple, you see it there right there, but Babe Ruth, 159 home runs in his first 674 career games with a 35-18 record in the 455 career innings pitched. Basically, that's exactly the same as Ohtani. 160 home runs in 674 games. So exactly the same amount of games. One more home run. He's obviously better than Babe Ruth. And then the same amount of wins with one more loss. So he sucks in the same exact amount of innings pitched. This is absolutely insane. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw right against the wall. Just like Babe Ruth, Ohtani's pitching career is going to come to an end very soon, and his hitting career is just going to start going crazy like it did last year. Boom! I said it. Somebody had to say it, but it's bound to happen.
I don't agree that his pitching career is going to end soon. I do believe that he is destined to be a reliever. I really do believe that. Obviously, because they changed the rules for him, they're going to try to figure out a way to do that. And when you throw that hard and you're that good, and we've seen it in plenty of playoff series, sometimes you just grab that starter and you put him in the end, and he's going to be the one to close it out. He did it against Mike Trout in the WBC. That's where I think Ohtani's going to end up. But I'm going to ask you a bigger question right now. Who you got? Ruth or Ohtani?
As a better baseball player?
No, just right now, if you were starting a baseball team, they're both about to get drafted or whatnot, who you got?
Oh, dude. Oh. All right. If you're comparing it to, obviously, the light competition when they played, you're taking Babe Ruth. I am taking Babe Ruth. I think there's two. I think somebody's gonna figure out Shohei and start figuring the league's gonna figure out a little bit. Or I don't think the numbers are sustainable. Babe Ruth did it though. He did it forever. He did it when nobody when 20 home runs was insane. He was hitting 40, 50, 60. And I don't know if I don't know if it's going to be sustainable, and I don't think he's going to be able to pitch long. 2 Tommy John surgeries. The list is so short of guys that have ever had Tommy John twice, and there's yet to be anybody successful.
This one is really tough. The thing that really gets me with Babe, and not a lot of people talk about it, is he was a left-handed hitter playing at Yankee Stadium when down the right field line was 200 feet. I mean, I could throw it over that wall to hit a home run. Does that change anything in your mind when you think about that?
It wasn't that short, but again, it was old Yankee Stadium right field line. What?
It was 220, 210, something like that. It was that short.
I still don't think it was that short. Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. I'm pulling up. God, Google is so amazing, right? Could you imagine we used to be able to talk crap about this?
Yeah.
Back in the day. 295.
295?
295, 490 in dead center.
Wait, the older one before the
old
one that
Yankee Stadium, 1928, 295, 350 to the gap. I'd say 350 to the true right-left gap, 429 to the center field, right field gap, 490 to dead center, 460 to left, right.
Nobody was hitting it over there. But what was the shortest
402
point
in a spot where most stadiums now are 350 on left field, and then 301 down the line.
What was the shortest point?
295.
Didn't you say that there was one point that was shorter?
No. 350, 295, 350, 429, 490, 460, 402, 301. Still 295 compared to today's age. Totally different. But I
stand
get
corrected. I
these
thought it
guys-
was a lot shorter than that.
What?
I stand corrected. I thought it was a lot shorter.
Yeah, but but the thing about it is it's still 20 feet shorter than most stadiums in right field line, and 310 is pretty standard, right? And he was swinging an absolute like log compared to pitchers throwing comparably very slow. At the same time, man, there's two players. The question would be like, who would you take, Bonds, Ohtani, or Ruth? Like, I'm still taking Babe Ruth probably. Like, and a Bonds is I would still take Bonds over Ohtani. I would take Bonds over Ohtani any single day. There's nothing like it. Ohtani doesn't get walked the way Bonds did. He's not on like
steroids.
What?
Pre or post steroids, Bonds?
Ooh, pre-Bonds is Ohtani now.
No, he's not.
Pre-Bonds is basically Ohtani.
When did Bonds ever go 50-50 pre-steroids?
When did he need rules changes to go 50? I mean, he was 40-40.
Okay.
Pre-steroids.
He never hit 50 pre-steroids, though.
What?
He never hit 50 home runs pre-steroids.
He 40 every year. That's like every year.
There's a difference between 40 and 50, and you know that.
Yeah, but let's play this out a little bit and see where this keeps going. I think Ohtani can do what Bonds did pre-steroid. Like, obviously the numbers prove he can, but he has to do it like 2 more years.
Yeah. I mean,
that's actually a great question. Is pre-steroid Bonds or Ohtani better players? And actually, I would like to see all those numbers, because like Ohtani probably is, but Ohtani came over older. So you have to play that factor in with years of experience and yada, yada, yada. But the pitching obviously takes its toll on you. That's a better argument, because Ohtani, Ruth.
All right, I'm gonna throw one last thought at you. Which twosome would you rather have? I'm going to give you Ohtani and Ichiro, or Ruth and Pete Rose.
Ruth, Pete Rose. You could give me a lesser hitter than Ruth, and I'm still taking that one. There won't be somebody on the field after Pete Rose destroys everybody going around the bases.
Sorry, I would take the Japanese guys. That's just me.
Oh, the thing about it was Ichiro was amazing, but there wasn't that second level of like, I have to score. Like Pete Rose had this weird obsession with being the best at everything, right? And like the most aggressive and hustling, and like Ichiro wasn't going to sacrifice his body to get a double. Pete Rose is going to take out the second baseman in case he could and he was probably out anyways, right? Like, there was just something about Charlie Hustle with what he did on the field that you can't. Pedroia might be the closest, and he still wasn't even close,
right?
That I saw, where just this crazy mentality of I have to be the best.
Oh,
Ichiro wasn't that. Ichiro was the best hitter, pure hitter, and like was fast, but he wouldn't steal unless he knew he had it. Pete Rose would steal just to steal. Let's go.
Well, if I had to compare one player to Pete Rose, and I hate that I'm going to say this right now, it's the devil.
Lenny?
Yeah.
That's a great call. Lenny was Pete Rose.
Lenny Dykstra is who we're talking about.
Lenny Dykstra was Pete Rose with less talent,
but more juice.
Yes, and then the juice screws out his head, and
he
probably gambled just as much. Who knows?
Yeah, but it was legal gambling. It's called margins. Anyhow,